Hello, I'm Justin Thomas, a middle-level science teacher who's had the privilege to go through the Ed Leadership program at Winthrop University. I would first like to thank you for agreeing to be a mentor again for the fabulous students at Winthrop and to aspiring to be an administrator. So thank you, because that goes a long way for us and for you as well. Now, there's a few things I'd like to talk to you about just to kind of remind you or to kind of give you some tips or some strategies on ways to help the process of these internships with the interns you'll have. The first one is the planning stage. We all know how critical planning is. It's the most valuable piece to getting anything accomplished. Well, when you sit down with your intern and discuss the plan that you would like to have for the intern, keep in mind a couple things. One is that you definitely want to make sure that you relate things to your school as best you can. You'll obviously have a choice of activities you can choose from, and you can modify those to your school, but you can also choose 3 activities in which are specifically related to your school. I can't stress to you enough how important it is to make these things related to your school, because as an intern, it made it more valuable and more meaningful to me. And for an administrator, it gives you a great aspect to either grow, change, or make any kind of modifications that you want for your school. So it's a great way to start making those changes. And as an intern, one of the things I liked was it gave me immediate feedback. I was working hands-on with the staff, with the administrative staff, with the students, or with the community. And so I got immediate feedback from those sources and was able to connect that with the learning that I was receiving. So definitely connect it to your school as best you can. The second thing is how you introduce your intern to your faculty and staff. They're not just someone there to cover bus duty. Make sure you introduce them as part of your administrative staff. This helps build a relationship, but it also helps the intern get in and get the things that they need to accomplish. For example, I remember when I had to work with teachers to coach with them. Now, because my administrative staff introduced me as part of the administrative team, they knew what to expect. They knew I was doing this as part of my internship, but I was also doing it as a school leader. And so they played the role of the teacher just as well as they would have. Now, had they not done this, then who knows what would have happened. They may have not taken the situation as seriously or thought that I was just some teacher just jumping into their room to see what was going on. So definitely introduce them as part of your administrative team and make them part of your administrative team. Make them work side by side with you. Get their hands dirty, if you will. And don't be afraid to allow them to work on anything that can help you as administrator, because one is we're going to learn, but 2 is it'll help the school grow in the long run. The third thing, which I kind of find to be the critical piece of the whole program, and that is support. Support is very crucial to us being successful through the program. And yes, you can just say, how are things going, and be done with that, and that can be considered support, but to me, there's a lot more to it. My administrative staff stayed on top of me about the way things were going. We would meet at least once a week, have conversations, anywhere from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. It just depended on the time. You know, you could ask questions like, how are things going? There's that simple question. But what are you working on right now? How many activities have you completed? When are they due? When's the next deadline you have to approach? Let's look at some of your reflections and see how they're turning out to be. Or let's look at some of your artifacts. Are they strong enough? Could we do something more? Do you think maybe you're trying too much here, and should we focus on this part? These are things that sometimes need to be addressed and can be easily addressed when you have that simple conversation. So that's one of the aspects that support can really go a long way. Support also means time management, in my opinion, because we get bogged down with a lot of things as a teacher, but we're trying to learn that administrative time management. You know it more than anybody else in this building, how time can slip away. And one of the things that I learned in the program was, as an administrator, you've got to learn to create time. And so that's one thing you've got to teach your intern, is how to find that time. You know, we're trying to teach our class, create our papers, communicate with the community, work on any other aspect of our program, which it might be several other classes we're taking. I know I was part of before and after school programs. We had meetings. You have all these things that as a teacher we learn how to work with. But then there's the internship we have to work with as well. So helping us make sure that we stay on task is something that you may need to work with us on a little bit, because that's a little new to us. The last thing about support is trust. You may not know us inside now, and we may not have completely earned your trust at this point, but we have worked hard to get where we're at. We're working to be leaders. We are leaders to some degree. And we know a lot about confidentiality. We also know what it means to work with others and to work with that trust. So we're not going to come in and work and try to make sure that we destroy that trust. We're here to gain it. And by trust, we have to look at data. I know some of the activities work with absentee data, budget data, survey data, all of this information about your school. We're not here to judge. We know confidentiality, and I'm asking that, be sure to trust us, because that will help us along the way when we're working on our activities. The last thing that I'd like to share is sharing. One of the things my administrative staff did very well was share with me, not just activity-related incidents. Usually things they would pull me in on could be something about discipline. It could be about professional development. I was able to present to my faculty at certain meetings. This is things that my administrative team thought it was necessary for me to learn about being an administrator, that it was not associated with the internship specifically. So definitely feel free to share. I know walking in the hallway they'd stop me and say, here's what's happened. What do you think? How would you handle this situation? I didn't write a reflection about it. I didn't submit it as one of my activities, but it made me think. And you know what? I got to relate it to other activities as well. So definitely share with your interns as much as you possibly can, because we're here to learn, and we're here to learn from you. So we appreciate everything that you can do to help us with that. Lastly, don't forget to fill out the evaluation form at the end of the process. It lets our supervisors, yes, it gives them the grading process, but it also lets them know where we're strong at, but where we need to work at, where we need to grow, because obviously we're learning, and we do have places we need to grow in. And finally, don't forget to complete your recertification survey. You can find a link somewhere, or if you need to, contact a supervisor and they'll guide you where you need to go. Again, I cannot thank you enough for being a part of this program, and we hope to learn a lot from you as we work side by side. Thank you.